I want to win everything, club and country. I want to do everything in the game. I want to be, a footballing icon.
He was born at Wordsley Hospital in Stourbridge, which is no longer there, in June, 29th of June 2003. Yeah, very memorable day.
I remember my childhood being really fun. Like, I always got the chance to play, a lot of chance to be creative, had a lot of fun. Obviously, similar age to my brother, so me and him would get up to loads, and my dad and mum would always join in and stuff, take us places, so yeah, really fun.
They didn't play a lot of football. Jude didn't play a lot, didn't seem to be interested in football at all. If you gave him a ball, he'd throw it, didn't really want to kick it, so no, not a lot at all.
Do you find that ironic now, given
Absolutely, absolutely. It just seemed that nothing happened until he was like 6 and then something clicked, but before that, if you give him a ball, he'd just want to throw it back at you, he'd pick it up, he wouldn't want to kick it, so.
My earliest memories of playing football was a coaching thing that my dad did on a Sunday morning, and I never really enjoyed it, but I kind of just did it because like my dad wanted me to, and I really enjoyed the racing at the start and like, the cat and mouse games, but the actual football I didn't really love like I do now. And then one weekend it just clicked, and all of a sudden that was all I wanted to do all the time. So.
Take it off the night you really mean it, Sam.
He's the one that kept doing everything. Well done!
Good boy, Dad. Well played, Jude.
Go on, Tom. Go on, Jude! Go on, love.
It's a bit of a weird one really. I remember there was, my dad always tells me the story about a scout coming to watch, and he said that we should come down and maybe do a trial for the pre-academy at the Blues, and it wasn't really something I wanted to take seriously. It was just something that I wanted to do for a laugh, and my dad was like, all right, yeah, we'll have a look, we'll see. And we already knew Simon Jones from the pre-academy, who worked there as the head of recruitment for that age group.
Bellingham joined Birmingham City as an under-8, after playing for Stourbridge. He played for their under-18 team at 14, and made his debut for their under-23 team at the age of 15, on October 15, 2018 away to Nottingham Forest U23s. Entering the game after an hour, he scored the only goal in the 87th minute, sliding in to force the ball over the goal line after pressure by Kyle McFarlane on the keeper diverted the ball into his path. By March 2019, he had 3 goals from 10 development squad appearances, had featured in 442's list of the 50 most exciting teenagers in English football, and was mentioned as of interest to major European clubs. He was gradually introduced to the first team environment while still a schoolboy, increasingly training with the seniors. He accompanied them on match day to observe, and travelled as the 19th man for a championship match in March. Bellingham took up a 2-year scholarship with Birmingham City to begin in July 2019. He was part of the first team training camp in Portugal, played and scored in pre-season friendlies, and was given squad number 22 for the 2019-20 season. On 6 August, when he started the EFL Cup first-round visit to Portsmouth, Bellingham became Birmingham City's youngest first-team player. At 16 years, 38 days, he lowered the record set by Trevor Francis in 1970 by 101 days. He played for 80 minutes in the 3-0 defeat, and was the Birmingham Males Man of the Match. He made his first Football League appearance 19 days later, as a second-half substitute in a 3-0 defeat away to Swansea City, and his home debut on 31st of August against Stoke City. Replacing the injured Jefferson Montero after half an hour, Bellingham scored the winner, albeit via a generous deflection, as Birmingham came back from 1-0 down to beat Stoke 2-1, and thus became their youngest goalscorer, aged 16 years and 63 days. He started the next match, away to Charlton Athletic 2 weeks later, and scored the only goal from Karim Rabdi's cutback.
And Blades Cup final
Yeah.
against Liverpool to beat Manchester United in the semis. Are you looking forward to testing yourself against those bigger teams again?
Yeah, obviously I'd like to be a good player, a great player when I'm older, and to do so you have to be able to test yourself against the best teams, the best players. I think I've done that in recent years against big teams, obviously Man U in the semi-final, and I'll just have to try and prove again that I can do it.
Bellingham continued as a permanent fixture in the matchday squad, sometimes as a substitute but mainly in the starting 11. He was eased into the team on the left wing, moved into central midfield where he could gain more confidence, and then used in a more advanced role once the staff were sure he could cope with the responsibility. He was EFL Young Player of the Month for November 2019. According to head coach Pep Clote, Bellingham himself feels more comfortable in midfield, and more comfortable when he can get closer to the opposition box. He was linked with moves to numerous major clubs in January 2020. On deadline day, Birmingham were reported to have turned down a £20 million bid from Manchester United. Bellingham continued as a first-team regular, and by the time the season was suspended because of the COVID-19 pandemic, he had made 32 league appearances. He remained an integral part of the team once the season resumed behind closed doors, and set up a late equaliser for Lucas Jude against Charlton Athletic that made Birmingham's league position less precarious with 2 matches still to play. He finished the season with 4 goals from 44 appearances in all competitions, 41 in the league, as Birmingham avoided relegation despite losing the last match of the season. In appreciation of what Bellingham achieved in such a short time with the first team, the club announced that they would retire his number 22 shirt, to remember one of our own and to inspire others. At the EFL Awards, he was named both Championship Apprentice of the Year and EFL Young Player of the Season. Many believed at the time that Bellingham would leave Birmingham, and it was reported that he and his father had visited several major clubs, of which Manchester United and Bundesliga club Borussia Dortmund were the favourites. Impressed by Dortmund's record of including young players as regulars in the first team, as evidenced by the likes of Jadon Sancho, Bellingham reportedly settled on the club as his destination of choice. He flew to Germany for a medical, and the transfer was confirmed on July 20, 2020. Bellingham was to join after Birmingham's last match of the season. The undisclosed fee was understood by Sky Sports to be an initial £25 million, making him the most expensive 17-year-old in history, plus several million more dependent on performance-related criteria. Bellingham made his debut on September 14, 2020, starting the first match of the 2020-21 season against third-tier MSV Duisburg in the DFB-Pokal, aged 17 years, 77 days. After half an hour, he scored the second goal in a 5-0 win, becoming the club's youngest goalscorer in the DFB-Pokal, taking 6 days off Giovanni Reina's record, as well as their youngest scorer in any competitive match, breaking Nuri Sahin's record by 5 days. 5 days later, he marked his league debut with the assist for Reina's opening goal in a 3-0 win over Borussia Mönchengladbach, and was named as Bundesliga Rookie of the Month for September. When Bellingham faced Lazio in the group stage on 20th of October, aged 17 years and 113 days, he became the youngest Englishman to start a Champions League match, breaking the record previously set by Phil Foden. In the first 3 months of the season, Bellingham was a regular in all competitions, with 6 starts and 7 substitute appearances in the Bundesliga as well as 4 Champions League starts. He missed the first 2 matches of 2021 with a foot injury, but returned to action as an increasingly regular starter. He was involved in Marco Reus's goal in the away leg of the Champions League quarter-final against Manchester City. He scored his first Champions League goal against City early in the second leg, but Dortmund could not retain their away goal advantage. In between, Bellingham scored his first Bundesliga goal from Reina's knockdown to equalise with VfB Stuttgart early in the second half. Dortmund won 3-2. Bellingham started for Dortmund in their 4-1 victory over RB Leipzig in the 2021 DFB-Pokal final. He was booked in the first half and replaced by Thorgan Hazard at halftime with his team 3-0 ahead. He finished the season with 29 appearances and 1 goal in the Bundesliga, 46 appearances and 4 goals in all competitions, and was voted newcomer of the season by his fellow players. Bellingham was runner-up to Pedri of Barcelona in the 2021 Kopa Trophy, awarded to the world's best under-21 male player as voted by previous winners of the Ballon d'Or.